event, Tony Ferguson, the man on the 12-fight win streak, versus Justin Gaethje, number 4. 26-3 for Tony, 21-2 for Justin. Now this is going to be a scrap. A really good fight. Tony Ferguson has 50% KO/TKO wins percentage. Justin has an 86%. 31% submission finish for Tony, 5% for Justin, 19% decisions, 10% for Justin on decisions. So basically, with that being said, someone's going to get stopped. This is definitely not going to decision. Significant strikes aren't very impressive as they're under 54%, but these guys throw bombs. Justin arguably is a much harder hitter, but Tony has them elbows that will cut you up all night. Their defense is pretty weird. Tony has a 63% defense on the strikes when he actually gets hit a lot. So I don't know what's up with UFC, with their website. Maybe it's a little bit off or needs to be updated. Gaethje has 53%, which, yeah, he does get hit a lot too, but Tony always gets dropped every fight, which I find pretty interesting. I think they're both wrestlers. I know Justin is, and I think Tony Ferguson was a college wrestler. Their takedown defense is off the charts at 76% takedown defense for Tony Ferguson, 80% takedown defense for Justin Gaethje, and these guys do not like to shoot very much. Justin has never shooted in his UFC career. It says here 42% takedown accuracy for Tony Ferguson. Now, let's see who's on whose resume. Tony Ferguson, I do believe he won the Ultimate Fighter, right? He won the Ultimate Fighter, and he's beaten. Yes, he did, and he beat huge names. Here's one name that I like to point out. Back in 2008, he's not huge in the MMA scene, but he is huge in the kickboxing world. Joe Schilling. It says here in 2008, Total Fighting Alliance 12, he beat him rear naked choke, so he could stand with a top kickboxer. And after he won the Ultimate Fighter, he beat Yves Edwards, who's a legend. After that, he lost to Michael Johnson, which is kind of like a head scratcher. Like, how did he lose against Michael Johnson? He does carry power, but it did go to decision. I guess he just kept getting better after that because he's been on a roll. Hasn't lost since Michael Johnson. He's beaten names Josh Thompson, Abel Trujillo, Danny Castillo by split. RDA, Kevin Lee, which that amazing triangle choke that he pulled off from round 3. Pretty amazing if you ask me. He broke his fucking knee, and it still hasn't stopped him. He defeated Anthony Pettis. They stopped it at the corner. Donald Cerrone, the doctor stopped it. So he beat Edson Barboza as well, which is pretty impressive with Barboza's kicks. You know, a black belt in Taekwondo, and Tony Ferguson still managed to come out on top. Justin Gaethje, on the other hand, a former PFL champion, has only lost 2 fights in his mixed martial arts career against Eddie Alvarez by KO, and then he lost against Dustin Poirier, TKO in the 4th round. Now, he didn't lose against just some fucking nobody. Eddie Alvarez, yeah, maybe you could say he's on the downer side of his career, but Dustin Poirier, a great boxer, they were going at it. That was a good scrap. And even though Dustin was hurt, he still told Dustin to come on, bring it, and Dustin didn't hesitate, and he brought it and finished Justin. Great fight. Loved it. I believe they should have a rematch sometimes down in the future if that's what they decide to do. Another huge name Dustin has beaten in the past in the World Series of Fighting, Malvin Gillard. I know he was a champion. I think it was World Series of Fighting, which did turn into PFL, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. And he beat Michael Johnson by TKO. He beat James Vick by KO in the 1st round. Edson Barboza KO in the 1st round. Donald Cerrone KO by the 1st round. Dustin has power. He gets hit, but he has the power. He has a strong chin. And look, I'm not hating on Tony. I like Tony. I want to see him fight Khabib. I think it will be a great matchup. But Justin has just so much power. He's probably the most, if not the second hardest hitting power puncher behind not Caliber, excuse me, behind Conor McGregor. And if I had to make a pick, I think Tony gets dropped mostly every single fight. He has the best jiu-jitsu in the lightweight division, if not one of the best. And Tony's a savage, dude. He'll keep coming. I think you have to submit him or knock him out in order to beat or just break down Tony. I don't think there is a breaking down. You have to knock him out because Tony's just gonna keep coming. He has that cardio. Justin has cardio as well, but he was definitely getting tired when he was fighting Dustin. I think that really did a huge factor while fighting Dustin Poirier. But nonetheless, he did lose by KO/TKO. So I hate to break it to you, but I think Justin hits, like I said, harder than Tony. And Tony gets dropped mostly every fight. Although he has a 12-fight winning streak, I sadly think his streak ends tonight. He just wants to go in. He wants to close the distance. He wants to get that pressure on you. And I think if he does that, like he always does against someone who hits hard, like Justin Gaethje, who has a hard head, it's not going to play off for Tony. I think he's going to have to be a little bit more technical and pick his shots and not just go forward and swing like the madman he is, like the boogeyman he is. And I hate to say it, but I really do think Tony gets TKO'd in this fight, round 2. Justin Gaethje. Sorry to break it to you, fellas.